Alright, it is early in the morning and the Spyder's been making a bit of a transmission noise, a little bit of a grinding, gravelly noise for a little while now. And so I am taking it to the shop to drop off because unfortunately I don't have access to that big garage you guys saw in my Meet Roslyn video. I moved away from it, so I am taking this car to actually the same transmission shop I took my BMW to in college when it blew a clutch. Actually, the clutch plate broke in half, which is a fun story for another day. And they were pretty good, they were pretty honest, and I could kind of use that because I have no idea what's wrong with the Spyder. I'm hoping it's not a transmission, but I've already emotionally resigned myself to the fact that it could be. And if it is one, I just have to figure out how to source and get one within the next like 2 or 3 weeks before autocross. So let's see what happens. Alright, I just talked to the transmission shop. It's been 3 days since I dropped it off. And the good news is most of the transmission looks good. The bad news is the bearings are pretty much gone and they've been going for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and have the transmission rebuilt by them, all new bearings. They said the rest of it looks good, which it should because it only has about 102,000 miles on the transmission, and that's pretty low for total transmission failure. And it wasn't grinding or anything, so I'm not really worried about that part. But the good news is it should be done by this weekend. Let's see how it goes. All right, the bearings have been done. The transmission's rebuilt. It's sitting right here. I can't drive it because I went to the shop and picked it up, and apparently no one's here who can process the transaction until 1 p.m. and they did not tell me that over the phone, so I'm gonna grab some lunch and come back and hopefully I can actually drive this thing. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a lot of greasy handprints and stuff all over the side of the car. It's gonna need a wash. It looks like they got it pretty dirty when they were getting the old transmission out. I'm back in the Spyder. Everything's good. It's driving pretty great. There's still a little bit of gear whine. I'm not really sure about the fluid they put in here. I think they put GL5. It's GL4, GL5 compatible, meets all standards fluid, but on the Spyder forums, people are pretty picky about the type of fluid they put in it. I was running, I believe, Pennzoil Synchromesh mixed with Redline MT90. So I've got some more Redline MT90 on the way. I'm gonna drive this for maybe 100 miles or so, see how it sounds, and I'll probably go ahead and swap it back out for the Redline Pennzoil combination. All right, I just got it home and I am so happy. It drives so well. This is the quietest the car's ever been from a drivetrain perspective. The exhaust is pretty loud and poppy, which is kind of how I like it. But the drivetrain is so quiet. I was doing hard pulls for like 2 gears, then hitting the speed limit, but it sounded smooth the whole way. Absolutely no issues. Sounds great. So I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. Because they got plenty of like oily handprints and stuff on the car, and then if all goes well, I'm going to take it back home to visit some family this weekend, put a couple 100 miles on it, and we'll see how it does. So I just got a GoPro and I thought what better way to test it out than strapping it on my head and washing the car just to see how it looks, and I gotta say I'm kind of impressed. So in midday lighting, the car looks even dirtier than it is. There's greasy handprints there. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a lot of greasy stuff here that they wiped off with a greasy rag. And it's just kind of generally dirty. The paint's already pretty bad on this. I've shown you before, but it looks especially bad now. So I'm just gonna wash it up and get it looking a little bit better so I can drive it tomorrow. This is kind of crappy soap, but I've been trying to use it up for, I don't know, a year now, and I still have this much left, so eventually I'll get some nice stuff. Nice thing about a small car like this is that it does not take very long to wash once you get organized. Although it's a little bit warm today, at least for the end of September, so I'm gonna have to rinse it pretty often. for wheels and tires, I use this Mother's wheel and tire cleaner. It's cheap and it's pretty good. I want to eventually get up to some Sonax, but this fits my budget right now. Future project, I need to get caps for these. My stock wheels of course had caps. I'm gonna see if I can take them out and maybe dip them gold, or maybe black might look kind of nice. I'm gonna see if I can put them in here to protect that. It was already a little rusty before, but I don't want it to get any worse. Let's go check the front out. Front's looking good. So you might be wondering, why don't I hand dry the whole car? Well, the paint's already really bad and our water here is pretty hard and it will leave spots on it, so I clean off the windshields, but there's only so much you can do, and the paint on this car is well past the point where having water spots on it is even going to be that noticeable. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't the case, and I've already done paint correction there, believe it or not, but the previous owner just had it sitting outside for who knows how long with no washing and waxing. Then I'm able to tell, because the car was so dirty when I got it, that I'm just not going to rearrange deck chairs on the Titanic. I'll do what I can for now, and as I can make it better, I'll make it better, but I mostly want to drive it. I care about driving it a lot more than it being clean. I care a lot more about our daily driver, the CX-5. I care a lot more about that being clean, because that's an actual nice car, and I bought it when it was nice, and I want to keep it. But the visuals on this have never been that great, so mostly what I've done to it is just to make it look decent from 10, 15 feet away, not be embarrassing, and then I just want to drive the heck out of it and enjoy it. This bad boy has not been washed in way too long. So I shouldn't say bad boy, this is Kaylee. I washed Kaylee. That's enough car washing for this video though. I'm sure you're not that interested, but up next I went for a little bit of a drive to test the GoPro and its new car mount with my roommate John. Behind us. Is that WRX? Yeah, that guy really wants to speed. I'm not about all that. He's filming us too. He's probably cursing you out right now. There's a passing lane up ahead, so he's probably gonna fly past you. Yep. Yeah, he just wants to go, and I'm more just want to cruise. What's that clanking sound I keep hearing? That's his exhaust. Oh, is it? Well. Oh, SCCA Rallycross. That's why it looks like that. I took a break from working on the Spyder. Well, not working on it, I guess washing and driving the Spyder. Heading over to Dave's house to help him sand some drywall. I'm kind of just playing with the GoPro right now because we just recently got it. We're going to be sharing it. But the Spyder is driving awesome. It was handling really well. The clunking in the back end is more minor than it used to be. So I'm thinking it might be something on the side with the transmission that might have been unbolted and then bolted back up again when the shop pulled the transmission. So I'm going to start there. I'm thinking it's probably maybe the lowering spring is hitting against something like the bump stop. I had to get new bump stops in the back. Maybe the bracing bar in the back isn't quite right. I'm not sure, but that's something that can wait a little bit. It doesn't appear to be safety related. The wheels are good, bearings are good, all that's good, so not really worried about it, but it's something I want to fix eventually. But tomorrow I'm heading back to my hometown. We have 5 family birthdays, actually 6 including my brother-in-law, but on one side of the family we have 5 birthdays in like a 4 or 5 day period. So every year we just do a big birthday get together, and my wife is already down there for a work reason, so she has the CX-5. So I was going to be making the drive in this, so I got this aligned this week. This is not my favorite road trip car because the driver's seat is super uncomfortable, and it's got a bar. The bolsters collapse on the driver's side, and there's a bar that digs into your back. But fortunately, I don't have to take that. I'm going to take the Spyder. I know it's maybe a little bit risky to take it on a 4-hour trip right after I had the transmission rebuilt, but the guy at the shop said there shouldn't be anything to worry about, and the rest of it looked like it was in great shape, so I'm just going to go for it. We'll see what happens.